So in this video, I will be analyzing my training. I'm just going to tell you a bit about my training and stuff that I've done today, and my reasoning and theory behind it. So starting off with just bench. This is very very light for me because I currently have a shoulder injury due to rotator cuff problems. It's only been a recent thing, but usually I would be doing tempo, which is what I'm doing today. So tempo bench that typically helps with strengthening as you are going down very slowly. It will stimulate that strength response from your muscle, and with that, you'll definitely get a bigger bench. But I do this like once a week, and you need to pause at the bottom because that's typically how bench is done, and pretty much powerlifting standard or whatever. But for me, I'd rather keep it standard and powerlifting and all that, because I do more of a power building split. So I try and build muscle but also strength through powerlifting, because it's something I enjoy, lifting heavy. So by doing that and also gaining size in my muscle, I have best of both worlds. And if you want to do this, I'd definitely say, if you're doing chest or a push day, definitely implement bench press, because bench press, squat and deadlift are great for, getting those numbers up and, challenging your strength. But for today, it's more just keeping the movement in and waiting for more, information on my shoulder, because I love my country, and it takes extremely long for me to get a response. But hopefully, nothing bad has happened to it. But we'll need to see anyway. But anyway, these right here are something that one of my friends showed me. It is a like fly-ish movement. It's where you go into more of a fly and then like rotate the dumbbell like above your head. So that kind of thing. This was just primarily because the double cable were occupied, and I needed something to stimulate my chest. And in my own personal opinion, these aren't great for growth, because I would say the cable machine would absolutely destroy this in effectiveness. But I had to do something for my chest because I'd be waiting around for hours if I was waiting for a cable. But with this, it's just like you just need to lay it down slowly, let the muscle stretch, and then bring it back up, kind of thing. Because with dumbbells, the resistance only gets as resistant as it can get at the bottom. Like as soon as you push up and then go slowly down, it will increase in difficulty, because unlike with cables, gravity is pulling against the dumbbell when you're going down. Hence why I'm going down extremely slowly here, and that adds to the intensity of the workout. And I did feel a good stretch, but not as much as a good pump, because this is probably more of a stretch movement than anything. But if you were to do it on a cable, it would be like constant tension, because you're always being pulled against it, against the pressure of the weights in the cable stack. So, and that's probably why I prefer cables to dumbbells in this case scenario. But anyway, as I was saying, cables, I do prefer cable lateral raises. This is a single arm version. So the way I think of it, I prop the cable thing that goes up and down. I prop that around my like knee level, and with this it's basically at perfect height for the range of motion you fairly need, because you just need to keep the tension at the bottom. So like make sure you are in the muscle and, you know, feeling as if you're activating it. And when you're at the top, go slowly down, slowly down, slowly down, and back up again. With this, it just adds more, you know, tension in the muscle, therefore more intensity, because you don't need 1,000 sets of, you know, dumbbell lateral raises, then this, and then another thing. Typically, you just need to, you know, hit the muscle in different, you know, ways, in my opinion, but you don't need so much like volume to the point where your muscle is like absolutely fucked and can't go anymore. But with this, it's until failure, which kind of contradicts what I just said. But when you're doing so much volume but not much, like, you know, I'd say it's more junk volume, because if you are not, you know, going to failure on most of your sets, you are kind of putting a lot of gains on the table, especially when it comes to shoulders. I've seen so much growth from going till failure on shoulders and on every part of my body. And I do live and die by until failure and not much volume, because that's where I've seen most success as a natural lifter. Like, if you look at my physique, I'm more shoulder dominant than probably anything. Like, yeah, my shoulders are probably the biggest part about my arms. You know, they go around to the back and you can see it. Not that well, but, you know, my shoulders are pretty prominent. But take it from me that just like, you know, I have the logic in my brain to go with the intensity and the you know, until failure, you will grow, you know. So like even stuff like, you know, drop sets, which I am doing right now, like that adds to the intensity. I can go a bit further than, you know, just doing a, say, 10 reps that some people do. 10 reps and then they're done. What's the point? You need to do it until failure. That's my whole thing. Because if you have reps in the tank, you're just not gonna grow as much. And if you've ever seen like bodybuilders train, because even if you're just trying to get, you know, the Cristiano Ronaldo physique and everything like that, you still need to train hard. You still need to train till failure. Like, because if you're just trying to build a nice beach body, like most people are trying to build, you still need to push the muscle to its max. And yeah, you're not good. You're probably like, I don't want to get too bulky. You're not going to get fucking too bulky. I've been trying to get too bulky for a long ass time. And look at me, I'm nowhere near too bulky. And you're not going to become Ronnie Coleman by going till failure and going intense on your exercises. You are just going to get probably more or less the average results. And by a mean average, as in like, you'll probably get up to probably Cristiano Ronaldo physique if you know, diet and train till failure properly, you know, that kind of thing. And that is my own theory. I'm not a science-based lifter. I am just more of a logic-based lifter of the muscle needs to adapt and it will grow if it adapts. So by correlating these things, you shall grow by not doing so much volume to the point where it's like 9 sets of bicep curls. Like, which bicep curl are you doing? Are you doing preacher? Then you're going on to hammers. You know, it can't be so much of one. You have to pick multiple and then do sets of those. You need to hit from different angles. You need to just like, you know, do these things. But with all this in mind, I just do this for shoulders, which my shoulders are fine anyway. So I don't really need to do much in terms of, you know, stimulation. But for rear delts, I don't need to do anything. For front delts, it's kind of hard with my shoulder, so I'm not doing those at the moment. But when it comes to triceps, I do extensions first, because that tends to stimulate the long head of the tricep, as I've said multiple times in my videos. And that is like it's like the big bit of your tricep. It's the bigger muscle in your tricep, which the tricep has three primary muscles. And with this, by stimulating it before, you'll be able to, you know, activate more in like movements like the tricep push down, which mainly uses the other, you know, other two muscles, because it's like in the, to put it basically, it's in the front, therefore, and it's not overhead, which the kind of big bit is sort of what it's for, you know, the extension, the pure extension of your arm. Meanwhile, probably pushing down from your like front is the, you know, the other two muscles. And that's how I like to, you know, visualize it. So I'm not much of a overhead tricep extension person. I'm more of a skull crusher person, because I prefer skull crushers because they make me strong and all this. But as well as I don't see the, you know, benefit of doing tricep overhead, but that's just me. And I just do extensions which target the exact same muscle that a tricep overhead extension would do. And then I go on to tricep push downs, as you see. And I go to absolute failure on these. Like, you can even see a drop set at the end. Like, it's all about the intensity of the exercise. And by doing pre-fatigue, I'll be able to up that intensity and my muscle will grow, which my triceps have grown from this technique for a long ass time, because I used to have very shit triceps. I never used to train them. All I would do probably for upper body was bench, bicep curls, shoulders, and back. That's probably it. And I'd leave triceps completely out, which was stupid of me. But I found this technique has really brought my triceps a lot, and I would advise you do it, you know, because I use the same technique for my quads. I do leg extensions and then I go into leg press, because it just adds to the burn, and it, you know, it adds that stimulation that you need to, you know, grow your muscle and everything. And that's just personal preference. You can do whatever you want, but that's just me. But anyway, onto some lat pull downs. Lat pull down, it's probably, you know, I'd say one of my favourite movements, but not my favourite, if you get what I mean. No movement's truly my favourite. But with lat pull down, here, I am, if you see me probably going a couple reps short of, you know, probably 6 or something, that's just because I'm doing a drop set. So with my lat pull downs, I like to do drop sets because it gives me the most stimulation in my lat muscles. And with lat pull down recently, I have more or less visualized targeting the lower lats, because I feel like my upper lats are fine. It's just like my lower lats need to almost build up and, you know, make that, you know, V shape. But I used to have like more of a T shape, in my opinion, which isn't good when you're trying to make a V taper physique. But with this, I don't need much, you know, pre-fatigue or anything like that, because I have such a good mind-muscle connection with lat pull down that I just need to do drop sets of this and then I'm pretty much fine. Because with lat pull down, I've been doing it for so long and I've had such a good mind-muscle connection with it. I can go as intense as I want, and, you know, it just, the pump and the feel of it is, you know, unmatched almost. So other than like some days where I just do this and then do some lat pullovers, you know, to activate the lats and everything, that's just besides that, as well as this. So when it comes to my back, my lats are more dominant, but my traps are very much not as dominant. as, you know, my lats, which hence why I'm doing shrugs here. This is just to get the activation in the traps and, you know, pre-fatigue them, because I do find it hard to activate my traps, especially on some rows. Hence why I was doing like 2 sets of this, you know, do it with like 80 kilos, get the feel of it, and then I go into, you know, my rows, which you'll see right here. And honestly, the feel of them today felt amazing because I did this whole pre-fatigue thing, and I'd suggest you do it. Like, if you honestly struggle with a muscle group that you can't find the mind-muscle connection with, you just can't feel it, try do a more isolated exercise like, you know, shrugs if you're dealing with trap problems. If you're dealing with tricep, you know, activation problems and you're not feeling it, do some pre-fatigue, you know, tricep extensions. Like, if you do that and then go as intense as possible, you'll feel it and you will grow from that, because I can definitely feel my traps, you know, burning still, and it's been like a couple of hours since, you know, I've done my workout, so it's clearly doing something. But yeah, with the rows, it's more or less keeping that tension, so not fully like letting your arms go. It's like letting them go, stretch, and then, you know, pulling them back. And if you want, you can do like so just like a technique of just squeezing your back when you can't like pull your arms back anymore, which happens to me because sometimes my arms give out before my back do. But that's just like you know, the way things are. But with biceps, I am doing preach curls right here. I live and die by these. It's just because technically, scientifically, if you want to call it that, they're the best for biceps, as well as cable curls. So like you're leaning forward and then you drag your almost wrist through to squeeze your bicep. But I wasn't doing those today because cables were occupied and everything. So I just did preach curls till failure, and that's just sometimes how life is. You know, cables are not available, so you have to just go till failure on other things. So, and yeah, I just believe in this, you know. I believe you have like preach curls, cable curls, even front cable curls, you know. Any like of those movements will build your biceps, and if you've got good genetics, you'll probably build muscle by just doing curls, because curls aren't really that great, because similar to, you know, the flies, it's all about like gravity and shit, because when you like have it at the bottom, there's not much tension, but when you get up to the point where you're squeezing it, it has the tension. So I tend to do more, you know, based off the tension of the muscle, and, you know, if it fucking works, because if my body reacts shittily to it, I'm not gonna do it. So you just gotta learn from your body. If your body likes it, your body likes it. If it doesn't, it doesn't, you know. But yeah, overall workout was okay. It's just felt a bit weak today, in terms of my bench felt weak. I did try some dumbbells for dumbbell press. My shoulder did hurt, and also the movement just felt like shit, you know, in muscular, you know. I just felt so weak, but it is what it is. I can't really do anything about that now, and yeah, I will get back to, you know, dumbbell pressing the 48s soon, not the fucking 24s. But anyway, enjoy my posing.
Na festa do fim de semana, só rolê bom. Ela chega e desencana com passo bem soa, passo bem soa, passo bem soa. Gosto bem, sou na festa do fim de semana. De semana. Cote de tabacosa, com nina minha. Veu erra cote de fogato, e tento ensaiar. Valeu por você, já sabe você. De farmante de fazer, esqueça do play. De farmante de fazer, esqueça do play. De farmante de fazer, esqueça do play. De farmante de fazer, esqueça do, esqueça do, esqueça do, esqueça do, esqueça do, esqueça do. Vai,